Welcome to the WayMaker Fireside Chat podcast, sponsored by McDonald's Black and Positively Golden. Today, we'll be talking with McDonald's owner-operator, Randey Fisher. Randey will discuss entrepreneurship and the quick service restaurant business. At WayMaker, our purpose is to grow your life and change the world. Without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome back to the WayMaker Men's Summit podcast. We've had some exciting guests here. I got an exciting person here I want to talk to on the business side, Randey Fisher. How you doing, brother?
Good, sir. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So what have you observed? How long have you been here? Have you got a chance to sort of marinate with some of the young folks and the entrepreneurs in the building?
Yes, I got here this morning, and it's been a wonderful experience. It's been great just to see how everything was put together. Just a great event for black men.
Is this your first year of being here?
This is my first year ever coming. Yep.
Okay. So we like to think that our goal here is to really just create opportunities for fellowship and for connection in ways that don't normally exist, right? So you see a lot of these young men, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of young business folk who are getting access to people like a Nick Cannon, a Kyrie Irving, a George Cheeks, all of these people who are doing amazing things in their different fields, but now they have access to them in a way that they haven't. So someone like you was a great example of a young man, making moves on the business front, and a lot of these folk don't see what success looks like that way. So for you, how did you get into the QSR business?
Sure. So I went to Marquette University in Milwaukee, and I majored in business and politics.
Okay.
So from there, I interned in Washington, D.C., where my senator at the time was Herb Cole. Okay. And from there, I moved to Detroit with aspirations of doing politics, which I ended up taking a different route. My family was already involved in the business. So sitting at the dinner table, everybody's talking about burgers and fries. Okay. And at one point, I got recruited to the McDonald's business, and I became a restaurant manager at the highest grossing sales restaurant in the state of Michigan. Okay. I ran that restaurant for a couple years, and then I went into the path to become a next generational McDonald's operator.
How was that? How was that process? Was that a difficult process for you in terms of moving to that next level?
Yeah, it was very humbling, I would say. I started from the bottom as a crew person. I learned all of the functions of how to make burgers, the specifics with the fries, right? And managing people, et cetera. So it was a great learning experience, a great stepping stone for me to truly understand the total dynamics of the business and of running a restaurant to help me get to where I got to now. So it was a good experience.
How important do you think it is for our community to see someone that looks like you as a business owner in this business, which, again, let's just be frankly targets our community more heavily than others, but we're not often in a space of ownership?
Yes, sir. I think it's very important to see not only black operators, but men and young men in those spaces, to see that there are positive things that they can do within their communities. We give back in a lot of different ways. Okay. And it's just been great to be able to work with people and see generations of families grow underneath us and with the brand.
Okay. So in what ways do you think, obviously we are creators of culture, style, fashion, all of that. Do you see your company, McDonald's, accessing that in ways that other folks don't? And how important do you think it is to see, black men in leadership roles and how we work in our style, our fashion, our culture into this?
Black culture is everywhere.
Right.
I think that, with the 2024 Change of Fashion program that we have right now is one example in which McDonald's is putting the message out there that, we as black people need to be recognized in that arena. Right. So we do have some fashion designers right now that are paired with someone already in the industry. So we have 5 change leaders right now working in the industry.
Right.
And they're getting the exposure that they need to show the world that Black folks in fashion exist. Mm-hmm. We need to be recognized. Just for a fun fact, only 7.3% of fashion leaders in the industry are Black. And that's one piece that we're really trying to talk about and really expose everybody to.
So staying on that for a minute, how important is visual identity in fashion to your personal and professional brand?
Sure. I was an athlete in college. Mm-hmm. So me taking care of my feet is always important. So I love shoes. Right, shoes is my thing. Yeah. But in terms of showing up every day at work, it's important to come correct. Right. My employees have never seen me without my shirt tucked in. Okay. All right. So that's just something that I have always made myself and make it a standard for myself for me to be neat and put together. Right. And that's important to create that image for my people to see and understand. That's how I carry myself, and that's how important it is for our brand to come across that way as well.
Right. So you mentioned just being neat and having your shirt tucked in, but do you feel a need to sort of acquiesce to the standard image of what a businessman, a suit and tie, full on, blah, blah, blah? Or do you find ways to work in your own urban style to that, but still be put together, be neat, shirt in, et cetera?
No, that's great you asked that question because at the end of the day, I still want to look cool. Everybody want to look cool, right? So you can look at what I got on right now. Right. I'm professional, I'm neat, but I put a little jazz with it with some shoes, some different sneakers instead of your traditional dress shoes. But I think it's important that people are able to show up as themselves, be able to be creative through things that they wear, and be able to display, truly who they are. Okay. That is important.
Yeah. What are some misconceptions people may have about owning a fast food franchise?
One thing is that it's easy. I think a lot of times people look at McDonald's and the brand, mm-hmm. and they think that just because those big arches are out there, mm-hmm. it's easy to operate. Right. And it's very difficult and it's trying. And then the other piece is they see the arches and, mm-hmm. and they think that I got a ton of money. Right. And that's not necessarily the case. Mm-hmm. It takes time to save. It takes time to build, and get to a good place financially. So those are just two of the kind of misconceptions.
Okay. So while we're on that space, what were some of the biggest challenges you had to face as a new franchise owner for McDonald's? Is there anything that stands out other than standard?
Sure. I think starting out, being younger, it was a little hard for me to give things up. Mm. So I had to understand and learn that the only way this is going to work is by me having a team, working with my team, mm-hmm. trusting my team, and allowing them to use their gifts to help us grow together. Mm.
Did you find there was a challenge to securing financing? Did you have to reach for outside financing? Was that hard for you?
Sure. So McDonald's has a good track history mm-hmm. As it relates to sales. Mm-hmm. So lenders understand the business. They know how the business can go. Right. So they're a little more understanding, mm-hmm. To be able to lend. So it's mm-hmm. a proven brand. Mm-hmm. However, you do have to show up with something. Right. you do have to have, some cash on hand. You do have to have some assets to be able to borrow. So in that respect, it's hard to get in, but once you get your foot in and you're able to show history that you take care of business and you're financially responsible, then it gets a little easier.
Okay. If you had an opportunity to speak to your younger self, are there any lessons that you've learned over this process that you would share?
Sure. I was just talking to one of my friends the other day about this, and it's being patient. I think one thing is just being patient, understanding that some of my fellow operators have been in the business for 30, 40 years, and we have to be understanding that I won't get there overnight, and it takes time.
Right.
But I also think that if I truly understood and knew where I wanted to be today, years ago, I would have been more intentional on what I was doing as a younger self to help propel myself to where I am now.
Got it. Okay. And I know we got to get out here soon, but let me ask you just one other question. For someone looking to break into the QSR business, what advice would you give them, and what would you say they should be prepared for, aside from hard work?
Sure, exactly. Hard work is probably the number one piece, but I think financially being responsible. So in order to, get the loans or have some support financially, you got to be responsible in that respect. So save as much as you can, have a good credit score. Be willing to always be nimble. You have to be nimble in today's world. Things are not going to be the same as what they were 10 years ago. So, or even last year.
Right.
So,
right.
Understanding that you have to be nimble, be flexible in what you're doing. And then, like you said, hard work is obviously one of the most important pieces, but also being able to make sacrifices and having a support team that understands what you're going through and is able to make that sacrifice with you, whether that's your children, your family, and, your friends, etc.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, listen, brother, it's been amazing talking to you. I look forward to hearing what you gather from this overall Waymaker Men's Summit.
Yes,
hopefully you can, drop some nuggets for them, and hopefully you'll take something away from them as well.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you stopping in and chat with